Hello folks, I hope you're all doing very well. We are in MSFS in the beautiful black square Baron, which is my favourite twin for this sim. And that rhymes. But anyway, we're not here for this, although enjoy all the goodness that this aircraft is as we fly over to Edinburgh. This is all about the DOF Reality H2. My verdict, really, having now used this for a number of weeks and posted so many videos on the channel, I've got a good handle now on what I like and what I don't like. So before we get into this video, a very quick word from our sponsor. FS Academy really does take your flight sim knowledge to the next level. In fact, you'll be greeted by a real pilot and instructor which will guide you through a series of different training exercises, from a GA pilot all the way up to being a full airline captain. In these tutorials, you'll get real bespoke sort of instructions, and it will really feel like the pilot is right there beside you. You'll be surprised how much knowledge you'll pick up, even if you're a seasoned veteran like me, or if you're just starting out. There is definitely a training package for you. I'll have links in the description below where you can find FS Academy, and I highly recommend that you give it a go, and it's why they are sponsoring this video. Right folks, so let's start with the things I don't like about this motion rig. And there's not really that many things, but this is a good example right now. As I am sort of banking over ever so gently, and now I'm going to move back onto my flight plan, like so. The sort of roll, when it's that like really slight movements left and right and up and down, you can feel a little bit of mechanical resistance, if that makes sense, from those rods. It's not totally smooth. Now, say if I were to take the autopilot off and did this, which is still very gentle, that feels really smooth to me. You know, it's only when I'm doing it ever so gently that I can feel a bit of, yeah, a little bit of juddering, I guess. So, recently I've been trying out things like the F16, you know, and the F18, you know, in DCS and also IL2. So, for things like that, it's going to be so smooth, guys. But for sort of more gentle flying, you will feel a little bit of that sort of juddering from the gearbox or from the rods or whatever it is. I'm sorry guys, I don't really know the technical names for this. This is just my own personal experience. Now, some of that could be down to software, of course. It could also be down to perhaps some add-ons that you can get, because there's so many accessories you can get for your motion rig, like dampeners, like these things you can put on the rig to help that out. But is it a deal breaker for me? Absolutely not. Not even slightly, actually. In fact, sometimes it kind of feels like those bumps are just the bumpiness of the air. So I really don't mind that. And you have to consider something really important here, folks. This motion rig is cheap. You'd be looking at least £3,000 for anything else like this on the market. And even a few short years ago, something like this would be pretty much getting on £10,000. I guess the other thing that I'm not so keen on is the design of the H2. Now, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love the look of it, and I'll put some shots in now of what it looks like, you know, in my very small little man cave. And it's amazing, actually, how it fits in here. However, notice how the gearbox is very much open to the elements, which means all of the moving parts of this, well, say if you've got dogs, you know, or any sort of pets, they could get tangled into that if you're not careful. So when using the motion rig, make sure that no one else can get access to it, especially if you're in VR, because you won't know about it. Now, they do offer a protective cover for the motion rig, and I bought one for this one, so I might do a separate review on that. So it's good that they've got that option. But it will mean I'm going to have to take the chair off and mess around with it. That's why I haven't done it yet. Now let's get to the good points, because there's so many of them. First of all, I'm so amazed with how easy this thing is to use. And what I mean by that is I can just switch this on load up some software, which I use for my haptic seat anyway, and that is it. I jump in this sim and I'm away. There's absolutely no faffing whatsoever. That was the thing that worried me about a motion rig, is the extra faffage. And I hate that. But this is so easy. In fact, if anything, it's less faff than if I used just a normal office chair, because all of my devices, my yoke, my quadrant, everything is right where I need it to be. And it stays on this platform. Or, you know, it's like this is my cockpit and I can climb into it and feel like I'm climbing into a real aircraft. It's just, it feels like an event, and I actually love that. And it also means that my office space, my desk and everything over there is completely, you know, I can just leave it the way I want to, and I can just game on like flat screen or whatever, or if I need to do any work for like my day job, I can just use that without having to mess around moving yokes and things around. It's also worth noting actually that I do use a very clever product called QR for rigs, which is quick release mounts that can be used across many different controllers. Again, you can see some shots in there. I have got a full review of it on the channel, and that makes the faffage, as I like to call it in this video, it seems, even less. It's so easy. I can just take controllers off and on, and it's so easy. And I love that. I like simple and easy and effective solutions to annoying problems that we all have as simmers. So it's, you know, in terms of its plug and play capabilities, especially with the SRS software, which I really do love. You've got so many different profiles. The customization of this is also amazing. So I think I've just mentioned 3 things there in one. What else? Well, I love actually the build quality of this device. If you consider again the price, this thing feels like it's built to last. Just the frame and everything just feels really good quality. So that really shocked me actually. Also, I just love that even though this is just 2 degrees of freedom, it does so much more than that. I can feel the vibration of different aircraft, say from a twin to a big radial engine to a smooth business jet. They all feel very different. Not only that, you have acceleration forces, surge when you're on the carrier in DCS. What else? You've got different configurations for, you know, the movement, so it can be a lot more precise. Say if you're flying an aerobatic aircraft, you can set the roll rate to be a certain specific number. It's just very, very cool. I never expected in a million years that a 2 degrees of freedom motion rig could do all of that. It even simulates yaw. I don't know how it does it, because obviously it's just kind of moving left and right, but with a bit of pitch thrown in there as well. I'll show you. In fact, no, I can't show you now, guys, because we are traveling very, very quick here, and that would be bad. Remember, we are in a study level twin at the moment as well. But yeah, when I sort of do a side slip or something, I can feel I'm moving, and it actually gives a sense of yaw. Especially because I'm in VR, it does trick your brain. Another thing I love about the H2 is the fact that I can, as you can see, now have a motion rig in what is probably the smallest man cave known to man. Like the wall is just here, yet I can go left and right, no problems at all, without any problems hitting anything. And actually in VR, you don't need so much of a throw to feel like you're moving. Another thing I love about the H2 is the fact that it's very much configurable to flight sims. You can see here I've got this special mount for my Alpha and Bravo throttle quadrants, which is a really nice plate. So this sits on here perfect. I've got a HOTAS mount here. I've even got a plate here for my mouse. It's so, as I say, versatile. So that is great. And if you're wondering, folks, honestly, DOF Reality, they don't make a lot of money on these motion rigs. They're pretty much almost at cost. So when you buy an H2 or H6 or whatever, they're not really getting a massive amount back from that. So a massive respect to them but really trying to keep the costs down, enabling more people to get into motion rigs. I guess another factor to be aware of, and this isn't just about the DOF Reality H2, this is all motion rigs, is motion compensation. That is something I've still yet to get my head around, pardon the pun, but when you do, say, bank really aggressively left or right, you know, if you don't have motion compensation, there is a possibility that your head will go outside of the cockpit. Now, pretty much 90% of my flying is this sort of thing, so I don't really have a problem with it. But having said that, I will have a solution on the channel very soon. It is something I am working on in the background. So when it's all said and done, folks, for me, this motion rig has totally changed everything when it comes to my hobby. It's made every experience of flying so unique, so different, whether I'm flying helicopters, fighter aircraft, GA aircraft, airliners, business jets, whatever it might be. It really is. It completely transforms me into the cockpit, especially when it translates to, you know, the movement and VR together combined with these visuals. It's absolutely mind-blowing, as you've already seen in my videos. So, to answer your question, is it worth it? Well, if you have the funds, yes, absolutely. Even with some of the drawbacks, I would never ever go back to a boring, stagnant office chair. So I hope that's cleared some things up, guys. As I say, this motion rig journey is something I'm still understanding. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I really do truly appreciate it. I'm going to crack on to Edinburgh in this beautiful aircraft. I love this thing. I'm flying it all day today, actually. And yeah, I'll see you again very soon. Take care, and bye for now. Oh, there is another thing I forgot to mention, guys, if you're still there. You can feel turbulence on this. Even though I don't have heave and yaw, when it's quite turbulent, in fact, even now, I can feel that we're swaying a little bit. You probably won't pick that up with the H2 physically because it's moving ever so slightly, but I can feel a few bumps. And again, that's something I did not expect. Anyway, I'm definitely going now. Thanks for watching. I will see you again very soon. Take care.